All right. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Alex Castellanos. I am the learning technology tutor of the College St. Scholastica. Basically, my job is to help students understand the software the school provides, like Google Docs, Google Drive, Brightspace, and just help them with any issues they have with any of that. And today we're going to be talking about Google and using it to help you get more organized and prepared more for the semester here. So I will share my screen real quick. Do. And one of the first things I want to point out is we're going to go into Google Calendar and we're going to talk about Google Calendar real quick. So when it comes to Google Calendar, getting organized Google Calendar, one of the first things you want to do is look at your relevant calendars here in the bottom left corner. And when it comes to that, it shows every calendar that's connected to your Google account. And with that, I highly recommend as a student, making sure the calendars you're going to use for a fact throughout the semester are what you have clicked out, and stuff such as like contacts or other calendars, maybe the holiday calendar is not clicked at all. That way you're able to see exactly what information you're looking for each time you open Google Calendar instead of having like a bunch of random things popping up at once. Helps you get a little more organized. Each calendar as well, you can color code to make it more easy to understand. For example, hitting the three dots here, make it green, and clicking that again. Now all my stuff's color coded, so you have a better understanding of, okay, what's school related, what is more personal, what's just my simple schedule. Reminders and tasks, for example, I have as a different color because it understands like, okay, this is work I have to get done that's due versus things that I'm going through throughout the day. And what you also want to do immediately is if you go up to, unpin this quick, is when you open up your Google Calendar, if you haven't done this yet for the semester, you want to right click on the tab itself and click pin. And then what's going to do is make a little tab here. So anytime you open your Google, you immediately are going to have Google Calendar opened up with it. And it helps a lot, so you're not having to sign in every day. You're not having to look Google Calendar up. I highly recommend doing that for Google Calendar and your Gmail as well, because then once you open up your school account here, everything's just up and ready for you to use. And another thing I recommend as a student is when you make tasks on Google Calendar, using both notifications from Google, so going into, let's say, a class here and hitting edit, you can make early notifications for yourself via the Google Calendar app, or you can have an email sent to you at any choice of time. And another thing I recommend doing, and not just doing that, is if you have a notification, give yourself, is to go on your phone onto your clock setting and create alarms per task and event you have going on. That way, if anything happens, you are prepared doubly. So Google Calendar is messaging you saying, hey, you have to do this. You're getting an email about it. Your phone's telling you, so that way you're not forgetting anything throughout the day. Changes. Next up, moving from Google Calendar after you get everything there organized, is going into your Gmail. And when it comes to Gmail, one of the first things you want to do is get your labels checked. So when you click on an email, you'll see this little icon here says labels. Any email you get, you can put into sections such as like, okay, is this a social email? Is more of an update for a current thing going on? Is a promotion? And you can create your own labels. For example, with this one here, it's more related to my work as a tutor. So I'd say, okay, let's call it the tutoring label. Hit create, and now whenever I open up Gmail, I can go here and I have this whole label here, and clicking that sends me to anything that's labeled under tutoring. So this helps you keep more organized. You can make labels per class. You can make label per even individual assignments, like maybe this is my presentation stuff, this is my internship stuff, this is my meetings. So it allows you to just make all your emails get more organized. And then shortcuts. So if you go to your settings here and click see all settings, you can move all the way down to advanced. And right here in custom keyboard shortcuts, you're going to want to enable that and then click save changes, because then you can go here and it shows you a list of all the little shortcuts in Gmail you could use. So Instead of having to go into every little thing, you can just hit Shift A to reply to all messages in an email. Go down here and you can say Shift U and you can mark a bunch of emails as unread. So this is just a little setting help guidance to give you a heads up. And if you ever need to look for more, Chrome itself actually has, let's see, keyboard shortcuts for Gmail. You can Google this and it has the full list as well. A little more in detail to help people out and exactly what they have to do, including what they would do if they have a Mac computer as well instead of a PC. Let's see. And then another thing to do is if there's emails that you find important, but you're trying to make more space on your computer and not wanting to have it filled up for, months at a time, right-clicking and archiving an email makes it so it goes away from your inbox, but you don't lose the email forever. You can actually undo it at any time, or you can go into, if you go more here, and find archive emails. I took it out of archives, doesn't have to show up there. But that just allows you to have important emails saved up somewhere else for the time being. So when you have anything you're looking at in the future, you can always go back to it, no issue, and it's not covering up space. And a tool here is the search function for Gmail, just going more into depth of if you're looking for a specific email, say you delete an email from a few days ago that you can't find at all, you can go into your trash section and you can do little engines here to see what email you're trying to find, like who was it from, who was it going to, what was the subject. A little helpful thing here is has the word, so you can even type out a single sentence you remember from that email, and it will search your entire email list to see like, okay, these are the ones that have those words, or it doesn't even have these words and such like that. So that's a really good attachment there in order to find emails you're looking for. And another thing you're going to want to do is specifically for your emails, if you go into Google Groups, here you'll have a full list of all the groups that your email and account's connected to. For example, everyone has student community, and you can actually go into your subscription section and you can tell yourself if you want every single student community email to come to you separately, if you want it in a digest form, which means it's going to be up to 25, a list of up to 25 separate emails all under one email each day, or a bridge, which is every single email up to 150 per day in a short little summarized section. This helps a lot so students don't have to sit there throughout the day seeing a bunch of separate emails coming in every couple minutes, and instead they get one full list at the end of the day, and it keeps it much more organized and such. Let's see, and then I'm going to stop sharing my screen here for a bit, because we're going to move on to Google Tasks. And Google Tasks is an online app you can get for your phone. So I'm going to share my phone real quick. Go. And you can go on the iOS App Store or your Google Drive Store to get onto it. And it's this little checkered icon here. And Google Tasks is a nice little feature. So basically anything you have to work on, assignments, notes you need, it connects to your Google account and it allows you to create these tasks so you can stay up to date. All you have to do is once you get the app and sign into your Google account, preferably your school one, you click this little plus sign and it allows you to create a new task. And this example here will create saying do homework. And you can add details such as like chapters 1, 2, 3, and when it's due, the exact date and such. And we'll just say random day like 5 p.m. today. You can save that and then it pops up here. And you can do that for a bunch of tasks you have. And once that's created, you can actually go into it. And if you click here, you can actually sort it into different lists. For example, I have a list called schoolwork, so I can send it through and now it's gone. And it's gone to my list of schoolwork to do. Another thing, if you have, for example, other things you want to work on, internship, a separate job, and you want tasks for that, all you have to do is create a new list and you can enter the list. Title will say work done, and that's a whole created list there, and you can create tasks inside that list or you can move them from your main task list. And once you complete a task, all you have to do is click the circle there and it's done, over with, and you're good to go. And then here's another way to create more lists. It's just a simple bottom left corner, create new list. And you can also sort the tasks you have by in order of when you created them or the date they're due, which I recommend highly for date because it lets you keep everything that's important. Like I have this assignment due at 12 tonight, but this one's due at 2 tomorrow. We'll finish the 12 one tonight first, and then we'll deal with the next one after. Let's see.
Alex, is this available on the computer as well?
Yep, I'm actually gonna
Okay.
go into that quick. So I'll stop sharing this screen share again. So once you get the app and everything downloaded from there, it connects to all your stuff for Google. So you're gonna have it connected to your Gmail, your Google Calendar and such. And you'll see in the corner here, calendar, keep, and tasks. If you click on that, it pops up your whole list. And say if you're looking at an email or anything on your Google Calendar, you just actually slide that, drag it in, and it creates the task for you with all the information from that email. So it helps, super helpful if you have like meetings coming up or a professor sending you exam times and locations. Just grab that, drag it in there. And then same deal if you're like, oh, I don't need this right now. Click it, you can finish your tasks there, and you can actually control what list you're working on and everything from your computer. So phone makes it much more accessible and easier, but you are able to do it via email, via calendar and such. Let's see. Next thing on our list here to talk about. Oh, sorry
and
about
Alex, that puts something on your Google Calendar as well, right? Tasks is linked to calendar.
Yep. So if I do this, this is already on my calendar, but you can see now here's my task here. And all the other tasks I had due for the day are down here as well. So it's just a really helpful way of like paying attention to one specific form of creating tasks, and then everything you use gets updated at the same time. Let's see, I think next we're going to talk about here is our Google homepage. So let's exit out groups here. Organizing Google homepage is pretty simple. We're just going to talk about a few things here. One thing that people tend to forget is bookmarking. So whenever you're using an important website or anything like that, I highly recommend bookmarking the page, just making the star and then choosing where you want it to go. For example, the bookmarks bar has everything here, but you can also create individual folders in your book page. This allows it so any bookmarks you have that are related to, in my case, Chrome, I have them bookmarked separately. So I have the Chrome Web Store installed here, keyboard shortcuts for Chrome, keyboard shortcuts for Gmail, and then I have a folder for school, which has the My CSS homepage and a couple Excel sheets I focus on. Then you can also delete bookmarks at any time and add new ones whenever you need. Creating Google tab groups. So if you have, say you're working on a research paper and you have a bunch of tabs open about this research paper, but you also have your email open, you got calendar open, it's just full of tabs. What you can do is right click on the tab and create, say, add tab to new group. And then you can type this group and say, if it's for a research paper, we'll call it research, color the group. And then what you're going to want to do is new tab and group. And now anything that goes into this tab and such gets put into this group. And once you hit that group tab, you can shrink everything and it puts everything away. So it keeps everything much more organized. And then you're like, okay, I need all those tabs back open. I'm working on this now. Just click that tab group and it opens everything back up. And then whenever you're done working on everything, you can just simply hit ungroup and it separates everything again. So it's really useful, especially if you're working on papers, if you're doing anything related to an internship, if you're a junior or senior. Another thing we want to talk about is Chrome extensions. So if you go to the Chrome Web Store, the first thing that pops up is the extensions page here. And these are all stuff that help you with little things. For example, Read and Write allows you to be better at making documents and doing research articles. Grammarly is a part of this as well, in which you can just have an easier time looking for spelling errors and such. And other extensions I'd recommend are ones specifically built for, let's say, you have a study time you're looking for. There's a lot of extensions out there on the Google web page or web store that allow you to like pause any ads outside. There's some that even say they block YouTube for a certain amount of time, so you can focus only on working instead of, watching a video on the side or anything like that. And another thing when it comes to Google, here is the reading list. So this kind of goes back to when you're working on assignments or papers. If you are looking at a bunch of different documents and forums throughout the internet, whenever you're on that page, I recommend opening up reading list here and hitting add current tab, and it adds it to a list of stuff. So while you're working throughout stuff, you can have a whole list of articles you need to look through or ones you've been reading. And once it's read, you just hit this little check here, mark as read, and then you know what you've been seeing, what you've researched already. And you can even exit out and delete it once it's over with and done with. And let's see. I believe that is the full list of stuff looking at here. Jessica, Greta, if you got anything else you want to bring to attention to anybody?
I think I really like your homepage that you've created for yourself with all those icons. You know, that's a really nice, a nice tool too. Like thinking about how your computer opens in your Chrome extension or your Google Chrome, like you can customize that, you know, and that's only to help things happen faster, you know?
Yeah, so when it comes to that, my biggest thing with that was it makes it a lot easier to have like Google more personalized to you. So as a student, everyone wants their own little like flair to stuff. So being allowed to like make, your favorite color, your tab color, choose your background stuff and all that other things just makes it's gonna sound cheesy. It makes learning fun. It just makes everything a little more fun to work with and makes it easier for you to be like, all right, this doesn't feel like I'm doing a bunch of work. It feels like more I'm relaxing, going on my laptop, doing some research I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And yeah, so if there's any questions from everybody. All right, I think we're good to go. So give me one sec here.